there's going to be a moment that you have to go through, and we're going to call it the Gethsemane Experience. There's going to be a moment when something is going to occur in your life that it's going to be a moment where nobody can help you. It's between you and God. This isn't a Gethsemane moment. I don't want to preach to somebody. May not be preaching to everybody. You may not be going through it right now, but it's coming. That moment when you are in a situation, it's just you and God. Nobody else. Pastor Harry, what is Gethsemane? Gethsemane, what's Gethsemane? Gethsemane, the place that was on the side of mountain, on the side of Mount Olive. Mount Olive, it was a garden where there were olive trees. It was a place where Jesus often went because you could get there and get behind under the leaves and everything, and nobody don't know but you and God. It's like a secret closet. And I think we all, everybody here ought to get to that point to where you got a secret closet. You ought to imitate Jesus Christ. I don't care who you are and how much you're working and what you're doing. You got to spend some time where you retire in and go in your secret closet and talk to the Lord. He retired in and he goes in his closet. He often did it. He was more holy than us. He wasn't even like us. And we here going through all of this stuff and we don't find ourselves praying like we ought to. We ought to imitate him to find that secret closet. Not when things are going well, just knowing that I need to pray for things that's coming. I wish I had some help here. He did not wait to the cross to pray. He prayed before the cross. He didn't wait till they were beating him all night long and spitting on him, putting nails in his hand to pray. Guess what? He prayed before it came. Can I get a witness here? That is a perfect example of what we ought to be as Christians. You pray when you're up, you pray when you're down. You just have a habitat of praying where you just find your way. Make it a moment when you just get by yourself because you have to be refreshed. You have to be strengthened to what's coming your way. Because as long as we live in this world, something is coming your way. It's going to come on. Boom. It'll come through people you don't even know it's coming time. And Jesus knew this. He knew everybody with him wasn't with him. Come on, somebody. He knew out of every 12, there's one Judas. I wish I had about 5 people know that out of every 5 people, somebody crazy. Have you ever hung around folks, if you hang around over 5 people, somebody in the group kind of throwed off. Somebody in the group ain't on the same page. I don't care if you work at Sanderson Farm. I don't care if you work in the classroom. I don't care if you work driving trucks. Somebody throwed off. I don't care if you work in the medical field. Somebody, they done went and got their doctor's degree and they still throwed off. You got to be prepared for throwed off folks. Somebody said, you better be praying for these throwed off folks. Because you'll think throwed off folks with you. They know how to act like you, look like you, You ever seen church folk know how to act like church folk? They know how to wave their hands just like everybody else. They know how to dance. But when they get out of here, they make a mockery out of you. Play this thing. This thing is real. I don't know what you feel, but this thing I got is real. When my hands go up, I don't take them up sometimes. They go up by themselves. There's something that hits me on the inside. And all of a sudden, oh, glory. Somebody said glory. Somebody said that's Gethsemane. Gethsemane was a place, it was right there in Mount Olive. It's about 1.5 miles before the walls of Jerusalem, right there. And here it is. Here's Jesus, a mile away from Jerusalem. This is Passion. This is Palm Sunday. This is getting ready for crucifixion. Things are getting ready to happen. He brings his disciples into this place, and he said, I want y'all to stay right here while I pray. So Pastor Hare, what, and where is this Gethsemane? What, and where is this Gethsemane? First of all, it's a travail. Before you bring forth something, you got to go into a travailing. If God gonna bless you, you got to go through something first. I'm talking about his children. God just don't just throw you something and you don't know how to handle it. See, when you go through stuff, you know what you've been through, and then when you get it, you know how to praise God, and you know how to keep on giving. There's some folks that get stuff. They get stuff just given to them. You don't know how to act. If you just keep on buying a child all this stuff, and he ain't never been, you ain't never made him work for it, he don't even treat it right. Come on, somebody. He don't treat it right, but when you made him work for it, he said, I ain't going back through that no more, because I have to work again to buy that. But if you just give it to him easy come. Oh, somebody know how to help me preach. Easy come, easy go. You better know that you just can't get stuff so easy. How many know anything worth having, you got to sacrifice. You got to sacrifice. Got to work for it, and then when you work for it, you appreciate it. That's why you see me praising God like I praise. I've been through hell and high water. I know who brought me out. I know who put clothes on my back. I know who put food on my table. I know who encircles me every day. I know who is encamped around me. Nobody but Jesus. Nobody but God. When I look back over my life and think about where I come from, I say nobody. I wished I had about 3 people can say it was nobody. Nobody could do it, but my friends couldn't do it. I've been through travail. You know why the reason why a lot of women love their babies more than their daddy? You know why? Because they went through labor pains. It was enjoy the moment. I wished I had some help here, but you the one that carried that baby for 9 months. And when you carried that baby for 9 months and all of at the end, by time for the baby, how many know the trial get worse? It was tough enough in the summer walking around like this. It's hot. You got to walk around with your belly stuck out. Now, it's time to bring the baby up. Now it get worse. I wished I had some help here. It got so bad when my wife was trying to bring Jerry, she cussed me out, told me, get out of here. You don't love me. I said, ain't got nothing to do with them pains, baby. You did that when you let Eve tell Adam. Ain't God all right? You started it. In labor, y'all quiet on that one. Ain't God all right? But yes, in travail. Somebody said, before you can talk about I'm going to get this and get that, you got to go travail. The Bible said when Zion travailed, she brought forth a nation. But she had to be in travail. She had to cry. She had to go through something. Ain't God all right? Not only What is this place? What's that? And what is this place? It's a place of distress. Somebody says it's a place of distress. Because in that verse, Mark chapter 14, verse 33, he says, and he take it with him, Peter and James and John, and he began to be so amazed. Have you ever been amazed at what you're going through? It's just like, it's amazing. What is this? And he said, and he began to be so amazed and to be very heavy. I don't know who I'm talking to this morning, but some things that you go through will make your heart heavy, make you feel like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulder. Oh yes, you wake up, you're tired. You take a day off work and sleep all day. Next day, you're still tired because it's so heavy. Somebody say, I can't wait till a break. I can't wait till a Good Friday so I can be off. Come Saturday morning, it seemed like it was bad Friday because you got the weight of the world on your shoulder. He was so heavy because there was something coming his way. And sometimes, folks, the thing you in is not compared to the thing you're getting ready to go in. The reason why you're heavy, because God's saying, I need you to get down on your knees and travail with me. I need you in your praying closet. Ain't God all right? That's where we at it. It's a place of struggle. Have you been into a place of struggle? It's a struggle with death. Jesus come to a place in Gethsemane, he's struggling with death. Somebody in here struggling with death, you don't understand it. We don't understand why we have to leave here. We don't understand how we have to lose our loved ones. Come on. It's a struggle. This week, Palm Sunday, it ain't no glorious week. This is leading up into Jesus' crucifixion. It gets confusing in the mind to really interpret this really like it should be. Because you're looking at this good man. You're looking at a good man. Oh, got to go through all this. It's a struggle with death. He's looking at it. Even he's Jesus Christ. He's God's son, but it's still a struggle. And people talking about, oh, be strong. He wasn't strong on that deal. He said, I got to leave here. But I'm believing it's going to be in 3 days, I'm going to rise, but I still don't want to die. Even though I want to go to heaven, I still don't want to die. Come on. I don't want to see my loved ones leave here, even though I know they might be going on to heaven, but I still don't want to see them leave this side. It's a struggle. It's a place of aloneness with God. Mark chapter 14, verse 35, he says, and he went forward a little and fell on the ground and prayed that if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. He left his disciples. He went by himself. He's alone. See, there's some things you got to go through alone. He left him there while he prayed. I wished I had some help here. It's a struggle. It's aloneness. And that's what I'm telling you. You got to find your secret closet where you can get alone with him. Because everybody can hear what you're saying to him. It's a personal relationship. You have to have a personal relationship with him. Just like you got a personal relationship with your boyfriend, you're going to tell your girlfriend everything you and your boyfriend talk about. No, she going to have your boyfriend. I wish I had some help here. You better stop telling everybody all your business. You better have your own relationship. Ain't God all right? Jesus, he had to have a relationship with his Father. I can't take everybody in this. They ain't going to understand what I'm praying about. Because somebody with me don't understand my purpose and my destiny. Everybody don't understand your assignment. You came in this world and God created you on an assignment. And you think you just here. You on an assignment, whether you walk in it or not. You on an assignment, and God created you. You on an assignment, and you can't allow nobody else to stop you from walking them in your assignment and your destiny. He can't take them in this. He's got to go in this alone. It's a place of aloneness with God. And as preachers, a lot of pastors don't understand. They don't understand. They think they got to hang with a lot of people. I got friends, but I don't hang with them. I wish I had some help here. You don't see me hanging out all the time eating with a bunch of preachers. The preachers, they got an assignment. I got an assignment, and you don't see me following a bunch of preachers. Come over here. We got this going on because we got a fellowship Sunday, and I'm running. I don't even have my own identity. See, when you don't have your own identity, somebody will create one for you. When you don't, somebody will give you an assignment. Give me no assignment because I've already been given an assignment. I don't have to do this with you, even though I appreciate what you're doing and what you're doing. I will support what you're doing, but I can't be everywhere all the time. And God has given me an assignment to watch my sheep. I'm not accountable for those sheep over there at New Mount Pilgrim. I'm accountable for the church people right here at. I wished I had some help. See, Jesus said, I'm on an assignment. I have to be alone with God. I'm on an assignment. They don't understand me, so let them just stay here. Y'all just watch. I told somebody one day, watch me as I go through this. I'm going through the fire furnace. You just sit back and watch me. You can't come in here with me. Just watch. I wish I had about 3 people that know that everybody can't go through what you're going through with. It's a place, Brother Kitchens, of earnest prayer. Have you ever been in a place of earnest prayer? I'm not talking about a rehearsed prayer. I'm talking about a prayer when you get alone with God and you know you something heavy on you. You know you're struggling with death. You're struggling, you're going through. You ain't no prayer. Nobody can get up there and talk about, okay, read this prayer. I can't read this one because what I say might not be on paper because what I'm going through ain't gonna align with the paper you wrote me. You wrote me a prayer, but that prayer ain't gonna work because I'm gonna tell him about my trouble. I'm gonna tell him what I'm dealing with. I'm gonna just line up with his will. I got to line myself with his will. And I may just say, Lord, not my will, but let your... Every prayer ain't the same prayer. Them alone prayer in the wee hour of the night when you got to crawl out of your bed because tears going down your face and you know trouble is all around you. Trouble is in your home. You got to get down on your knees by yourself and you ain't going to be rehearsing the prayer that you used to hear them deacons pray. That's all right what they pray. Thank God for the prayer. But my prayer, this is a personal prayer. I got to talk to him about what I really need. Do I have anybody here ever had a personal prayer? You had to fall on your knees and Spirit started making intercession. You know what you prayed for. Speaking in tongues or whatever. You started, oh, Lord, glory, God, I just love you. You ain't prayed. The Spirit was praying through you. Somebody tell him thank you. It's a place, my brothers and sisters, where you surrender to the will of God. What's the place and where it's at? It's a place where you surrender to the will of God. See, we got our own ways we want to do things. I've been the same way. I want to do this and do that. But I had to get to a place where I had to surrender what God was doing with me. And that's a hard place. That's a place where you got to wrestle. Because this old self, it wants to take control. This old self wants to be in control. This flesh want to do what it want to do. This flesh want to go where it want to go. The flesh want to act like people want it to act. But you got to get to the place where you move Hilton out of the way. You got to get to a place where you say, Hilton, you got to move out of the way and let God have his way. If I get rid of Hilton, then God can use me. But as long as I'm in Hilton, he can't use me. Look in verse 36 what it says. It says these words, and he said, Abba, Father, all things are possible unto thee. This rough with me, but one thing I do know, I don't care what you're going through, all things. I don't care how hard it is. All things are possible with God. They take away this. He said, I know everything possible, so can you, since it's possible, take this from me? Oh, nevertheless now. See, I like that. I'm surrendering because you God. You my Father. If it can't be taken away, let your will be done. We lose a loved one. You got to cry out, let your will. If it be, I can't accept it, but guess what? Let your will be done. That's a hard pill because we can get selfish. Huh? Jesus could have been selfish because he came here to save all of us. That was his assignment. But when that thing got rough and he got to face death, now the flesh started kicking in. Because that's why he came here, so he let you know that I've been through the same things you're going. My flesh hurt too, but I stayed on the wall. I had to go and align my will with God's will, and I had to pray in a lonely hour by myself. I had to surrender, but guess what? I stayed right there. And I'm praying for you. That's when he came back to Peter and them, and they were sitting, and they fell asleep. He said, you know what? Y'all can't stay woke 1 hour, but I'm praying that your faith fail you not. And that's what he's doing for us, praying that our faith fail us not right now. The intercession for you, he's a mediator between you and God. It's a place, what is this place? It's a place where the disappointment of loved ones, you got to let it go. You know, sometimes people walk away out of your life. Family folks that was round in your little circle, they walk out of your life or they turn their backs on you. Appreciate you. Come on. Ain't God? If I've been walking with these guys 3 years and here it is. Judas is sitting here walking away. He knows it. Ain't God all right? There are folks that walk away because look at verse 37. He says, and he cometh and finding them sleeping and said unto Peter, Simon, sleepest thou? Good as not watch one hour. Can't even watch. Folks ain't gonna go through it. You talking about, well, they brought some food, but you ain't gonna see them no more. I made that cake so I don't have to deal with you no more. That was just for the repast. But I ain't coming back. Uh-oh. But that don't make me mad with them. This is something I got to go through by myself. I got to deal with this by myself. I can't look for people to validate me. As long as I got God's validation, I'm all right. Somebody shout glory. Well, Pastor Harris, well, you're talking about this Gethsemane. Well, how do I face it? How do I face my Gethsemane? That's my second point. How do I face my Gethsemane? You face your Gethsemane with expectations of blessings. When I come out of this, I will be better than I was when I went in. When I get through this storm, I ain't going to look like what I've been through. When I get through this, I'm going to be promoted. When I get through this, I'm going to be stronger than I ever been. I'm going to be wiser than I ever been. I'm going to be more anointed than I ever been when I get through this. How do I face it? I face it knowing that I'm coming through this and I'm coming out with a blessing. Yeah, because John 16:33 says, these words, these things I have spoken unto you that you might have peace. In this world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, be of good cheer. When you come out of this, you're going to overcome the world. Ain't God all right? This world will bring trouble, but when you go through what you got to go through, you've overcome the world. You've overcome the world. Be of good cheer. Look at your neighbor and say, cheer up. Put a smile on your face. Thirdly, Pastor Hare, well, how long do I remain in Gethsemane? Uh-oh. I'm glad you asked. You're going to remain in Gethsemane till you get an answer to your problem. You need to stay on your knees till God give you an answer. Ain't God all right? Somebody said, stay there till you get an answer. Genesis 32:24 says, and Jacob was left alone. Hey, that's his Gethsemane. He's left alone. And there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. Jacob was wrestling not with God, but he was wrestling with himself. He's wrestling with himself, but he's going to hold on to God till God change him and give him a blessing before he let him go. I wished I had some help here. He's alone with God. He's talking to God. He's praying with God. He wrestled all night long. The angel said, he said, I'm not going to let you go till I get my answer. I'm not going to be the same. And when I let you go, I'm going to be different. When I let you go, my name is going to be Israel. It's Jacob now. Jacob means an old supplanter, old trickster. But when I let you go, my name going to be Israel, a whole nation. I wish I had somebody to help me preach in here. When I let you go, I'm going to be different. My name going to be Israel. Y'all, somebody ought to be throwing money on the altar for this good preaching here. You can't get no preaching like that. I'm just talking about what I feel. Ain't God all right? Oh, I wished I had about 3 people say, I'm going to be better when I get out of this. Well, Pastor Hare, what do you do in your Gethsemane? I'll tell you what you do in your Gethsemane. The main thing, you ought to just go to Romans 10 and 13. Because sometimes we get in the Gethsemane, we need to go to Romans 10 and 13. You know what it says? That you confess with your mouth. Whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord. In your Gethsemane, how many know you got to call on the name of the Lord? You got to call on him, and thou shalt be. You might be going through a point where you feel like you're not saved. You get in that Gethsemane, guess what? It'll take you to a moment and say, God, I want to really know I'm saved. Because all this hell I'm going through, I want to really know I'm saved. Just start calling on the name of the Lord. Somebody said, thou shalt. Not you might be, but thou shalt. If you're going through something right now and you're dealing with something, learn how to call on the name of the Lord. Thou shalt be saved. In your Gethsemane, Revelation 3 and 20 says, behold, he said, I stand at the door and knock. You're going through something, he's knocking on you. He's trying to get something to you. He said, I stand at the door and knock if any man hear my voice and open the door. He said, I'll come in. I stopped by to tell you he will come in. Why don't you high five your neighbor and say, neighbor, he will come in. He will come in. If you just open up the door. Don't stand there acting like he ain't knocking on you. You know when trials come your way, he's knocking on your door. There are some things he needs to deal with you about. Even Job was a good man. He despised evil. But one thing Job had a problem. Job always thought he was going to lose all of his riches and his children. So God said, then when he got into trouble, he said, the thing that I greatly fear has come upon me. In other words, you're fearing too much. So God got to work on you and let you know that you don't have to fear losing nothing. I got you. Ain't God all right? But if you just let me knock on your door, you open up the door, I'll come in and give you more than you had in the beginning. Somebody stop by to tell you that he'll give you double for your trouble. Somebody going through some trouble right now, but he'll give you double for your trouble. Can you wave your hand and know that you've been through some things, but you found out that through it all you learn how to trust in him. Through it all you've learned how to lean and depend on him. Through it all you've learned problem. You can't call everybody, but you can call the name Jesus. How many know there's power in the name Jesus? Can I preach like I feel? There's power in the name Jesus. I call him in the morning. I call him in the evening. And then in my wee hours of the night, I call Jesus. And every time I call Jesus, it just makes me feel better. Let me just hold right here for a moment. Every time I call Jesus, it just makes me feel good. Jesus, my burden bearer. Jesus, my bright and morning star. Jesus, my midnight rider. Jesus, my friend when I'm friendless. Jesus, did I call his name right? The same one that went in the Garden of Gethsemane. I didn't call his name, but you know his name. If you know his name, cry it out. Yeah, he came on the scene in the Garden of Eden. What's his name? Yes, he came down through 42 generations. What's his name? Y'all don't hear me. He got off in Bethlehem. What's his name? Yeah, he stood there and was born in a little old stable, in an ox trough. What's his name? Y'all don't hear me. Herod tried to kill him. People denied him. He got up and spoke in the temple, and they say he spoke like one with authority. Where did he matriculate from? He didn't come through our theological seminaries. Ain't God all right? But he preached with anointing. What's his name? The same one that said, all power is in my hand. Ain't God all right? He said, I come to preach the gospel to the poor. Meaning his first sermon, he preached to me, because I didn't have nothing. I'm so glad. I love to call his name. I wished I had about 5 folk that love to call his name. If you love it, call his name. Get out of your seat and say, same one that went in the Garden of Gethsemane, prayed to seem like blood or sweat was dropping off his body. And he said, not my will, but let your will be done. What's his name? Can't nobody do me like, can't nobody love me like Jesus. He's my friend. Jesus, he's my lawyer. Jesus, I'm so glad he lined his will with God's will. Jesus, that went through Gethsemane. That's why I know I go through my. When trials come, I don't worry about it. I just get on my knees and get along with God. And I call the name. Anybody call it? Do you know how to call it? If you know how to call it, wave both hands. Say, I know how to call the name Jesus. There's power in the name. There's love in the name. When Jesus got off his knees, Jesus said, everything is going to be all right. Ain't God all right? His Gethsemane was that everything is going to be all right. He stayed there until he got strengthened. Ain't God all right? Stay in your Gethsemane till you get strength from on high. Look at Jesus. He stayed there in Luke 22 and 43. The angel came and gave him some strength. Stay on your knees until he come and give you some strength. Ain't God all right? Is it anybody here love my Jesus? Is it anybody here know he's all right? Stay on your knees in the midst of your trial till you get some strength. How many know God will strengthen you? What you gonna get in your Gethsemane? You're gonna get a blessing. Jacob got his name to be called Israel. Abraham and Mount Moriah went to his Gethsemane. He couldn't take his servants with him. He said, stay here on the mountain bottom. Stay in this valley. I'm going yonder, but me and my son coming back. And when I come back, my name is going to be Father of many nations. I'm going to be blessed. Ain't God all right? Anybody here love my Jesus? Is it anybody here know he's all right? I heard Jabez, his name meant pain, but he went through a travailing moment. Jabez prayed. How many know he prayed? He prayed, and God reversed the curse. Ain't God all right? And blessed Jabez, because he went through a travailing moment. Somebody here, you're going through something, but hold on. Stay a little while longer. Get down on your knees. Get on your knees. Tell the Lord, oh, Jesus, come to my rescue. Jesus, I align my will. I surrender to your power. I surrender to your way. I surrender to your anointing. I surrender to what you got for me. Whatever you got, I lift my hands. I do like they do when the police catch you. Lift your hand. I'm here, God. I surrender. I ain't running no more. Ain't God all right? Say yeah. Say yeah. Say yeah.